Alright guys, quick tomato talk. All these are tomato plants. We have about 50 of them that are the result of what we fed our pigs last summer and spring. They're kind of looking like cherry tomato variety because they all have a whole lot of blossoms clustered together like these guys. And we don't really mind that because a tomato is a tomato and all tomato varieties make a sauce that you can. And since that is kind of our goal this year, and these were basically free, we are not being picky. But I wanted to share some things. First, tomatoes do not like, their leaves don't like water and moisture. So we water them from the ground. We have dug a trench and we just let the water go every 2 to 3 days. Second, all these bottom shoots that are coming off, if you nip those, you don't have to worry about them touching the ground. And the plant itself can work on putting all of its energy to everything up here and growing up and not fighting off disease like blight. Another fun tip is we discovered that we have a room for about 100 more tomatoes. So with that said, we're gonna come through here and I'm gonna show you how to prune your tomato. And in pruning, just because where we live, you don't want it to be a very clustered plant due to our high humidity, which is eastern North Carolina. You have what's called the armpit. I don't think that's the technical term for it, but I get a lot of my information from Jess on Roots and Refuge on YouTube, and so this is what she calls your armpit. So your body, your arm, your armpit. In the armpit of the plant, you have these little shoots. You should definitely pick those off if you're in eastern North Carolina, just because our humidity is so high and the rain is so heavy during hurricane season, which is right in the middle of our summer, or the end of our summer when you're going to be taking all of this fruit off. But if you take your armpits and you just pinch them off, this is now a tomato plant. You can put it in a little bit of water and let it root. I'm going to be putting it in some potting soil inside of my cells, and I'm going to be probably harvesting about 100 of them today, just so that I can go ahead and fill in my garden with 100 more tomato plants. We probably have about 90 or so right now. So by the time the 90 that are established, like these guys, by the time I'm harvesting from those, these guys will be ready to harvest a few weeks after that. That way we still get a lot of tomatoes, but it's not all at once, so it can just kind of, I guess, be distributed throughout the season. So I'm not canning 200 tomato plants at one time. I'm just going to be harvesting these guys. And then right behind me are these guys. These are all slicers. I know what they are. They're all from Baker Creek, and a lot of them are black beauties. So they'll actually be big slicer black tomatoes. They're actually really dark purple, but they're pretty beautiful. These guys are just going to be some kind of cherry variety, which I'm still okay with because that's pretty exciting. But yeah, I just wanted to share those few tips. If you need more tomato plants, don't go out and buy a whole bunch. If you already have them established and you're okay with the variety of tomato that you have established, just go through and find your armpit pieces. See, these have like little babies on them. I wouldn't grab those just yet. And these also have little babies on them. Okay, I wouldn't grab those just yet. I would let them get a little bit big. But like this guy, that's pretty big and pretty established, and we can pinch him off and go ahead and put him in a starter cell, and in a few weeks put him out here. I'm sure you could just poke a hole and bury it in the dirt that you have right now, but I like them to have the loose potting soil to start their roots and to get established, because where we live, we have sand, and then underneath the sand is really dark red clay. So yeah. Another fun fact about tomatoes is the top of a tomato, if you have a determinate tomato plant, it's going to stop growing at whatever point in time it needs to stop growing. An indeterminate tomato plant will continue to grow as long as it can climb. The top of your tomato plants, if you take that off, that tomato plant will no longer grow, and it will just put all of its energy into all the fruit that it's bearing. The good thing about that is I am 5'4", so if I let them go 6 and 8 foot tall, I'm not going to be able to harvest them very well. So when they get about 5 foot tall, I go ahead and knock their tops off and let them just put all their energy into making fruit. So you can do that, or you don't have to. But like, so here's the armpit, and here's a one, and it's very, very established. So I'm going to put that one in. So right there, with no trip to the store and no money out of pocket, I have 2 more cherry tomato variety plants. When my black beauties start doing that, I'm going to be definitely propagating those and getting them to do the same thing, so that after I'm done harvesting those ones for the year, the next ones will be right behind them, ready to harvest. I don't think I can really tell y'all anything else except for some of these, like this guy needs to be tied up because it's definitely fallen over. Tomatoes like to grow along the ground, so every time, so if a tomato was to fall over like this one is, all these little hairs, all these fibers will turn into roots. So kind of like if you see a mint plant, it grows along the ground and there's shoots that come off of it, but if you go to pull that up, there's a long stem with a whole bunch of roots. It's the same purpose for a tomato. We just try to make them go up so that we can harvest the vegetation off of it. Here's another one. So these guys have definitely got a lot of water. This one, I obviously forgot to prune this one when it was younger, so it's probably just gonna grow into a hot mess, which I'm okay with. Because yeah, I'll probably take some of them off, but not all of them. But yeah, they're just little clusters. So here's your flowers, that's where your fruit's gonna come from. And here are some of our starts. So we have 4 little plants right here, already started. No seeds involved, no heat involved, no worrying about whether or not your seed is taken away from all the rain. It's perfectly content just how it is. You just put it in water, put it in soil, and then the little fibers will allow roots to grow, and there you have it. Beautiful plants. You guys have a good one. I hope you learned something. I hope I wasn't too long-winded. I do that sometimes. I also say but, so, all that stuff that I'm not supposed to. Thank you for watching my videos. I know that I learn and then I teach. So most of my tomato knowledge comes from Jess and Maya from Roots and Refuge on YouTube. So definitely go check them out because she has a brilliant mind.